Okay, for example 4, graph the hyperbola x squared minus y squared plus 2x plus 4y minus 11 equals 0. So, once again, first task is to group things. So, I got my x squared minus 2x, is everything about x, leave a little space. Got my minus y squared plus 4y, is everything about y, leave some space.
It's plus 2x.
Oh, plus, thank you, plus 2x. Alright, so x squared plus 2x, negative y squared plus 4y equals 11. Just like the last problem, I want it to be positive 1x squared and positive 1y squared on the next step for completing the square. Notice x squared is already behaving itself, so I don't have to do anything weird on this one. X squared plus 2x is fine the way it is. I'm just going to put grouping around it. Again, I had to take nothing out to make it x squared. It already started off that way.
Is it wrong if you put a 1 on the outside?
If you put a 1, it's not wrong. It's just not necessary. All right. Notice, though, this is not positive y squared. That's negative y squared. So I'm taking a negative out, which means for these two objects, I need to divide by negative 1. So negative y squared divided by negative 1 is positive y squared. Positive 4y divided by negative 1 is negative 4y. Again, very careful. There's always a minus sign involved in these problems. Make sure when you're extracting that negative out that the signs change of both objects. These are the two objects. This one became positive. This one became negative because we took a negative out. And then it equals 11. Okay, now if I complete the square like I did before, half of 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1, so I'm going to do plus 1 here. But in reality, I'm doing 1 times what? 1, which is still 1, right? So nothing's out here messing with this, right? So I put a plus 1 in, I get a plus 1 out. Nothing weird about that one. Okay, on this one, negative 4, half of 4 is 2, and 2 squared is 4, so I have to put a plus 4 inside. But in reality, it's a negative 4. The minus sign distributes through, it's actually negative 4 I put there, so I have to put a minus 4 over here to account for it. So again, you always put pluses in the parentheses, let the number or sign outside influence that to put what goes over there. Alright, so at this point I'm going to factor parentheses squared. Again, I want a letter, a sign, and a square root. Term 1, letter x. Term 2, sign plus. Term 3, square root of 1 is 1. Parentheses squared here. Letter y. Sign negative. Square root of 4 is 2. Over here, 11 plus 1 is 12 minus 4 makes 8. So my final step, divide everything by 8, right? So I'm going to get parentheses x plus 1 squared over 8 minus parentheses y minus 2 squared over 8 equals 1. Notice I'm dividing by a positive, so positive divided by positive keeps that positive. Negative divided by positive keeps that negative. 8 divided by 8 is just 1. And at this point, there's no numbers out in front of the parentheses, so everything's fine the way it is. No reductions necessary. We are currently in standard form. So my center, h comma k, wrong sign, wrong sign. So negative 1, positive 2. A squared always lives under x squared, so this right here is a squared. If a squared is equal to 8, then a is equal to the square root of 8, which is 2.83. B squared always lives under y, so b squared is also 8. So b is also 2.83. And c squared is always the sum of these two numbers. 8 plus 8 is 16. So c squared is 16, which means c is the square root of 16, which is 4. My slopes of asymptotes are going to be plus or minus 2.83 over 2.83. And again, that's a positive 2.83 over 2.83 and a negative 2.83 over 2.83. Those obviously reduce to 1 over 1 if you want to. The 2.83 over 2.83 is also fine. Doesn't matter what you use. All right, so, and finally, x squared positive front, so we're going to be going left and right. So we're going to go left and right A, 2.83, left and right C, 4, from the center, negative 1, 2. So negative 1, 2 is my center. If I go left, 2.83, 1, 2.83 would be about here. 1, 2.83 would be about there. That's my vertices. I'm going to go left and right 4 to get my focal points. 1, 2, 3, 4, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, left. And finally, for my two asymptotes, if I take my positive slope here from my center up 2.83, right 2.83 would be about there. Down 2.83, this one here is down and right, so down 2.83, right 2.83 is about here. The asymptotes are going to connect through the center and the extra point. So make those black. So there's one slant asymptote. There's my other slant asymptote. And draw them long enough so they're beyond the vertex, so you can actually start at the asymptote, come through the vertex there like that. So if I connect, start at the asymptote, come through the vertex, end at the asymptote, start, go through vertex, end, and view the graph.